Imagine stepping into rooms where color breathes and lines tell whole stories. Today we meet 16 contemporary abstract painters shaping 2025, from huge room-filling color explosions to quiet stitched surfaces that hold memory. Each mini profile is short and clear: who they are, how they paint, and why their work matters. If this excites you, kindly like and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow. Let's begin. Howardena Pindell is an American painter born in 1943 in Philadelphia, and she has spent over 5 decades breaking boundaries in contemporary art. She is not only known for her abstract paintings, but also for being a pioneer who challenged both the art world's rules and its exclusion of women and artists of color. Her paintings are layered, textured, and often made from unusual materials. In the 1970s, she began punching out tiny dots from paper and layering them onto canvases. The result was abstract surfaces full of color and rhythm, almost like galaxies or fields of stars. Over time, she combined paint with paper, glitter, thread, and mixed media, creating works that shimmer and vibrate with detail. Pindell's work is not just about beauty, it's also deeply political. She has tackled themes of racism, feminism, violence, and the personal struggles she faced as a Black woman artist. One of her most famous works, Free, White, and 21, 1980, is a video piece where she addresses racism in America directly. This combination of abstract experimentation and strong social commentary makes her one of the most important voices in contemporary art. When it comes to market value, Howardena Pindell's career has gained more recognition in the last decade, and her works are increasingly sought after by collectors. At auction, her paintings have sold for up to around $1.1 million, while many others fall in the high 6 figures. In 2025, her estimated overall market value is between $5 million and $10 million, and it continues to rise as her influence and legacy are more widely recognized. Lucy Bull. Lucy Bull is a Los Angeles-based painter who has quickly become one of the most talked about abstract artists of her generation. Born in 1990, she represents a younger wave of painters who are pushing abstraction into new, playful, and deeply immersive directions. Her canvases are full of swirling colors, dreamlike shapes, and shifting patterns that seem to move as you look at them. Many people describe her work as psychedelic because it feels like stepping into another dimension. The paintings are both chaotic and calming at the same time, with layers of brushstrokes that invite you to keep searching for new details. Unlike some abstract painters who start with rigid plans, Bull's process is intuitive. She builds her compositions through experimentation, letting the colors and marks lead the way. This gives her paintings an energy that feels spontaneous and alive, almost like a record of the mind wandering through imagination. In just a few years, Lucy Bull has gained serious international attention. She's shown with David Kordansky Gallery in Los Angeles, and her works have appeared in major exhibitions in Europe, and the US collectors have also rushed to acquire her art. At auction, her paintings have already sold for over $1 million, and her estimated market value today is around $20 to $30 million, an impressive figure for such a young artist. What makes Lucy Bull's art so powerful is the way it combines playfulness with depth. Her paintings don't tell one single story, but they create spaces where viewers can project their own feelings and ideas. Laís Amaral. Laís Amaral is a young Brazilian abstract painter who is quickly gaining international recognition. Born in 1993 in São Gonçalo, Brazil, she now works out of Rio de Janeiro, creating art that blends the personal with the political. Her paintings aren't just about color and form, they're about identity, memory, and the world we live in today. What makes her work unique is the way she uses simple tools like manicure combs and hair picks to scrape through layers of paint. These marks create grids, textures, and lines that feel like scars or maps. Through these abstract gestures, Amaral explores themes like desertification, the loss of natural environments, and the pressures of racial and cultural erasure in Brazilian society. Her paintings are deeply rooted in her own experience, but they also speak to broader issues of environment, history, and belonging. Over the last few years, Amaral has begun to step onto the global stage. She's had solo shows in Sao Paulo, Rio de Janeiro, Brussels, and more recently in New York. Critics and collectors have been drawn to her ability to make abstraction feel urgent and alive, carrying a strong sense of place and identity. In terms of the art market, Amaral is still early in her career but already attracting attention. Her works have sold at auction in the low thousands of dollars, and larger pieces shown in international galleries are fetching higher prices. As of 2025, her estimated overall market value is between $500,000 and $1.5 million, and that number is expected to rise as more collectors and institutions begin to acquire her work. Hettie Inniss. Hettie Inniss is a young British Caribbean painter born in 1999 in Hackney, London. She's part of a new wave of abstract artists bringing fresh energy to the global art scene. After studying art in Leeds, she went on to complete her master's at the Royal College of Art in London, where she quickly stood out as a talent to watch. Her paintings are deeply tied to memory, those fleeting moments that come back to us unexpectedly through a smell, a sound, or a glimpse of light. Instead of painting these memories in a literal way, Hettie translates them into layers of color, shapes, and textures. Sometimes you catch hints of interiors, fragments of rooms, or shadows of flowers, but they're never fixed. They shift and blur, just like memory itself. Her process is very tactile. She uses oils, pigments, and textured materials, often layering and then wiping paint away. This creates canvases where parts are bold and vivid, while others feel faded or half erased, almost like the way memories slip in and out of focus. The result is abstraction that feels intimate and emotional, inviting viewers to think about their own memories and how fragile they can be. Though still early in her career, Hettie Inniss has already exhibited in London, Amsterdam, and New York, with her first solo shows attracting strong attention from collectors and galleries. Her works are now appearing at auction, with smaller canvases selling for a few £1,000s. As of 2025, her overall market value is estimated between $100,000 and $300,000, and that number is expected to rise as she continues to build her career. Tauba Auerbach. Tauba Auerbach is an American painter and multidisciplinary artist born in 1981 in San Francisco, now based in New York. She works at the intersection of painting, design, sculpture, and even science. What makes her art unique is how she explores patterns, perception, and systems, how things shift between order and chaos, flatness and depth, simplicity and complexity. One of her most famous series is the fold paintings. In this body of work, she creased and folded canvas, then sprayed paint over the surface. When unfolded, the canvas revealed patterns of light and shadow that look almost three-dimensional. It's a smart way of blending geometry, chance, and texture. Auerbach also explores themes of language, symmetry, and physics. Some of her works look like abstract codes, wave patterns, or even optical illusions. She experiments with color, gradients, and surface effects, sometimes using tools like custom-built machines or scientific methods to create unexpected results. She's exhibited widely, solo shows in New York, London, Paris, and major museums around the world. Her practice isn't limited to painting. She also makes books, glass sculptures, and even musical instruments, all tied together by the same obsession with perception and structure. Now, about market value. Tauba Auerbach's fold paintings are particularly sought after. Her auction record reached around $2.3 million for one of these pieces in 2014, and many other works regularly sell in the hundreds of thousands. Today, in 2025, her overall market value is estimated at $10 million to $20 million, depending on rarity, size, and medium. Bridget Riley. Bridget Riley is one of the most influential abstract painters of our time. Born in 1931 in London, she rose to prominence in the 1960s as a leading figure in the op art movement. Her paintings play with optical effects, lines, shapes, and colors, arranged in such a precise way that the images seem to move, shimmer, or vibrate when you look at them. At first, Riley worked mostly in black and white, creating sharp contrasts that made waves, zigzags, and repeating patterns come alive. Later, she moved into color, developing vibrant compositions where reds, blues, greens, and yellows create a sense of rhythm, like visual music. Her paintings are carefully calculated, but the effect on the viewer feels almost physical. Your eyes shift, your sense of balance is challenged, and you feel as if the surface itself is in motion. Riley's work is deeply connected to perception. She often says that painting is about seeing, how the human eye and brain interpret color and form. Her art has influenced not only painters but also designers, fashion and architecture. Even today, younger generations of artists and viewers find her work fresh and exciting. Bridget Riley's paintings are highly sought after by collectors. Her auction record is around $5.6 million for a large painting sold in 2016. Many of her works, especially major canvases from the 1960s and 1970s, regularly sell for millions, while works on paper and smaller studies are valued in the hundreds of thousands. In 2025, her overall market value is estimated between $20 million and $40 million, placing her among the most important and valuable living abstract painters. Shara Hughes. Shara Hughes is an American painter born in 1981 in Atlanta, Georgia, and today she's considered one of the most exciting contemporary artists working with abstraction and landscape. At first glance, her paintings may look like landscapes, mountains, rivers, flowers, or skies, but they aren't real places. They're imagined emotional spaces built through bold colors, patterns, and textures. What makes Hughes unique is how she reinvents the idea of landscape painting. She mixes abstract gestures, decorative patterns, and surreal colors to create scenes that feel alive and otherworldly. A river might be red, a mountain striped with pink and green, or a sky broken into swirling patterns. Instead of copying nature, she's painting feelings and moods through landscapes. Her process is spontaneous. She often starts without a clear plan, layering brushstrokes, drips, and shapes until an environment begins to emerge. This sense of improvisation gives her work energy. You can feel the brush moving, the colors clashing and blending, the space shifting as if it's breathing. When it comes to market value, Shara Hughes is one of the top-selling painters of her generation. Her auction record is around $1.5 million, achieved in 2022. Many of her larger paintings today sell in the mid to high six figures, with smaller works in the tens of thousands. In 2025, her overall market value is estimated at $10 million to $15 million, reflecting both her rapid rise and her staying power. Mehretu. Mehretu is one of the most important abstract painters of our time. Born in Ethiopia and raised in the United States, her work combines layers of maps, architectural drawings, and sweeping brushstrokes that feel almost like energy frozen on canvas. Looking at her paintings, you see cities, migrations, and histories colliding. They're abstract, but they hold the weight of real human stories inside them. Her large-scale canvases are like universes of their own. They often begin with precise lines, grids, blueprints, diagrams, and then explode into a storm of marks, colors, and gestures. This mix of control and chaos is what makes her paintings so powerful. They feel alive, like they're constantly moving, reflecting the complexity of the world we live in today. Mehretu's art has been collected by some of the biggest museums in the world, including MoMA in New York and Tate in London. She has also been commissioned for monumental public works, like the huge painting she created for Goldman Sachs in New York. These projects, along with her solo exhibitions at leading galleries like Marion Goodman and White Cube, have made her one of the most sought-after abstract painters of the 21st century. When it comes to the art market, Mehretu is at the very top. Her auction record is over $10 million for a single painting, and her works regularly sell in the multi-million-dollar range. Overall, her market value today is estimated at more than $200 million, placing her among the most successful living abstract artists in the world. Bradford. Bradford is one of the most influential abstract painters alive today. Born in Los Angeles in 1961, his journey into art is just as remarkable as his paintings. He started out working in his mother's hair salon, and many of the materials he uses in his art, like end papers from beauty shops, billboard posters, rope, and paper, are drawn directly from those early experiences. Bradford's large-scale canvases look like aerial maps of cities, fractured and layered with color, texture, and depth. They're not just beautiful, they tell stories about urban life, social structures, race, and inequality. He often pulls posters from the streets of Los Angeles, strips them down, and reworks them into paintings that carry both the energy and the struggles of the communities they come from. What sets Bradford apart is how his work connects the personal with the political. Every piece is abstract, but at the same time deeply tied to issues like poverty, class, and identity. His art has been shown in major museums all over the world, and in 2017 he represented the United States at the Venice Biennale with a powerful solo exhibition. In the art market, Bradford is one of the highest valued living abstract painters. His works have sold at auction for more than $12 million, and today his overall market value is estimated at around $150 million. Collectors and institutions alike see him as not just an artist, but a cultural voice who uses abstraction to speak about the realities of our world. Firelei Báez. Firelei Báez is a Dominican-born, New York-based painter who has become one of the most exciting abstract voices in contemporary art. Her work blends history, identity, and imagination into vibrant, layered paintings that feel alive with movement and color. Báez often draws from Caribbean culture, folklore, and colonial history. She takes maps, symbols, and patterns from the past, then reworks them with expressive brushstrokes, bold textures, and abstract forms. The result is art that looks both familiar and futuristic, like she's rewriting history on canvas. You'll often see swirling blues, fiery reds, and tangled lines that invite you to look closer, discovering hidden details and stories beneath the surface. Her paintings are deeply personal yet universal. They speak about migration, resilience, and belonging, big themes that connect to people all over the world. At the same time, her work celebrates beauty and cultural richness, showing how abstraction can be both political and poetic. Over the last decade, Báez has shown her work in major museums, including the Museum of Modern Art in New York, the Guggenheim, and the Tate. Collectors and institutions have quickly taken notice of her unique voice in abstraction. Her paintings now sell in the 6 to 7 figure range, and her overall market value is estimated at over $25 million in 2025. What makes Firelei Báez stand out is how she uses abstraction not just for aesthetics, but as a way to reclaim stories and identities that were once erased. Her art reminds us that abstraction can carry history, memory, and pride, while still dazzling us with its color and energy. Emily Kraus. Emily Kraus is a young contemporary painter born in 1995 in New York, now living and working in London. She studied religious studies in college, then went on to do her Master of Arts in Painting at the Royal College of Art. Her path into art is unusual. She combines meditative, yogic, and somatic practices, and she uses those ideas to shape how she paints. One of the most striking things about her work is the strange machine-like structure she built in her studio. She stretches raw canvas around a cube-shaped frame made of steel rods. She loops it, rolls parts, moves within it, and uses that frame as both constraint and tool. She paints on parts she can reach, but much of the painting gets smeared or folded by the structure itself. She can only see a narrow section at a time, so she relies on memory of what she has already done. Her paintings often combine repeated rhythmic vertical lines, like beats of a metronome, with colorful, wild passages of paint. The contrast between controlled structure and chaotic flow creates tension. Because she's early in her career, her market value is not yet at the top tier. Smaller works might sell for tens of thousands of dollars, while her larger scale canvases with ambitious technical setups likely fetch more. As of 2025, a reasonable estimate of her overall market value could be in the range of $400,000 to $1.5 million, depending on size, rarity, and gallery representation. Agnes Waruguru. Agnes Waruguru is a Kenyan painter born in 1994, whose abstract work is quietly powerful and deeply rooted in identity, nature, memory, and craft. She trained in the US, earning her BFA, and now splits time between Nairobi and places like Amsterdam. Her practice moves beyond just painting on canvas. She works with textiles, natural pigments, embroidery, needlework, beading, glass, installation, and paper. When you see a Waruguru work, you'll often notice soft washes of color, pigments made from natural sources, layering of materials, surfaces that have been dyed, sprayed, stitched, or beaded. Some pieces feel like emotional landscapes, memories made visible. Others feel like fragments of domestic life or nature, assembled slowly, patiently. Her themes include identity and belonging, where a person comes from, where they live now, and what it feels like to move between places. Also memory, grief, ritual, and connection to the earth. She often draws on traditions of women's labor, sewing, domestic crafts, not to be nostalgic, but to honor what's lived and what's carried forward. Now, let's talk market value. Because Agnes Waruguru is still in an earlier to mid-stage of her career, her auction prices to date have been modest. Some works of hers have sold for a few hundred to around 1,400 to 1,500, depending on the medium, size, and material. Based on her recent exhibitions, demand, and increasing visibility, a reasonable estimate of her overall market value in 2025 might be in the range of $100,000 to $300,000. Smaller pieces or works on paper might be on the lower end, while larger installations, heavily crafted textile works, or major solo works could fetch more. Sam Smyth. Sam Smyth is a British abstract painter born in 1991, based in the UK, and working in the traditions of geometric abstraction and hard-edge painting. Early in life, he was surrounded by creative structure. His father's work in paper engineering fascinated him, and that shaped his interest in color, shape, and precision. Sam's paintings are all about form and color. He uses bold, large-scale canvases filled with geometric shapes, circles, arcs, sharp angles, and he layers color carefully. Each piece looks balanced but electric. There's rhythm in his work. Your eye moves across the canvas like listening to a musical beat. Colors interact, edges are razor sharp, and shapes align in ways that feel both planned and lively. His process is precise. He uses masking tape and layers of paint, sometimes airbrush or acrylic, to build up color fields that glow. He plays with repetition, contrasting color, composition. Sometimes his paintings feel like they breathe or hum. There is influence from op art and color field painting, but Sam brings his own voice, modern, confident, engaging. Now, what about market value? Because he is in an early to mid-stage of his career and his pieces are large and ambitious, prices vary. Smaller works or works on paper might sell in the low thousands of pounds, mid-sized canvases in the mid to high thousands. For his larger gallery-scale paintings, especially those produced in high-profile exhibitions, prices could be tens of thousands of pounds. As of 2025, a reasonable estimate of his overall market value lies somewhere between $300,000 and $1 million, depending on size, complexity, and gallery representation. Mary Weatherford. Mary Weatherford is a powerful voice in contemporary abstract painting. Born in 1963, she is based in Los Angeles, and what makes her art stand out is the way she combines paint and real neon light to create scenes that feel both natural and surreal. She often begins with observations of California landscapes, skies, or seas, and then in her studio she transforms those ideas into large paintings. To those canvases, she sometimes adds neon tubes, letting light become part of the image. The neon doesn't just illuminate, it becomes a shape, a horizon, a gesture. Her painting process is expressive. Big swaths of color, washes, drips, textures. These come together with moments of bright neon glow. Sometimes the neon zigzags or forms simple lines that cut through the painted fields. Sometimes it's more subtle, just tracing a horizon or an edge. The paintings evoke twilight, dusk, nights near the sea, or distant city lights reflected on water. Now about value. Mary Weatherford is well established in the art market. Her works have been auctioned for amounts ranging up to around $478,000 for single pieces of major scale or special significance. For many of her sizable canvases with neon, the price tends to fall in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. As of 2025, a solid estimate of her overall market value would be between $5 million and $15 million, depending on the number of works available, their size, their neon component, and which galleries or collectors are involved. Katharina Grosse. Katharina Grosse is a German abstract painter born in 1961 in Freiburg, now working globally. She is known for exploding color across walls, floors, ceilings, canvases, even entire environments. Instead of just using brushes, she often works with spray guns, pouring, rolling, and sweeping huge arcs of paint. When you see one of her installations, you don't just stand in front of a painting, you walk into a world of color that shifts as you move. Her work challenges what we expect from painting. Sometimes she sprays color over architecture, other times she paints aluminum panels or canvas, or even uses soil or mesh to help her color bleed and merge. She plays with space, scale, and perception. You might enter a gallery and find that the walls, floor, and ceiling are all part of her abstract composition. The effect can feel immersive, disorienting, joyful, like walking through light and pigment. Now, about market value. Katharina Grosse is very strongly positioned among top-tier abstract painters today. Her auction record reached about 500,000 euros, around 550,000 US dollars, 600,000, for a large canvas that sold in December 2021. Many of her other large works also sell in the hundreds of thousands of euros or dollars. Based on her volume of work, visibility, scale of installations, gallery representation, and auction history, a reasonable estimate for her overall market value in 2025 might be 10 million US dollars to 25 million US dollars. Of course, individual pieces may sell well above or below that depending on size, medium, and provenance.